going to share with you my portfolios, what I put inside of them, and how they are helpful. Hi friends, so last week I promised a surprise for you, and I have one. Before I show you the surprise, I'll review what we did last week. In our last week's video, we did this reading stamina chart that keeps track of independent reading time in 2-minute increments. So my husband, my awesome, very talented husband, made this beautiful wooden reading stamina chart. I'm not sure if you can see that. The lighting is a little glazing. It says reading stamina on top. It's just like the other one, but it's made of wood and it's still with 2-minute increments. And on the side, it comes with this little gingerbread guy, or you can flip it. It's double-sided. It has the outline of a person, like this. And it has magnets on the side, so you don't have to worry about clipping anything on and off, and it just goes up. And also, if you want to do 1-minute increments, you could do a bit-tweener and keep track like 9 minutes, 11 minutes. I didn't do that. I like the 2-minute increment. I think that's a sufficient goal for the students. At first, I was going to start painting this. Here's the practice board, and I wasn't sure what colors to paint it. If I was going to use it in my classroom, I would probably color it with some fun colors like these, but I was not sure if that's something that would be appealing to everyone. So if you would like to take the Reading Stamina Wooden Tracker home, please comment below. Just write your name and I will enter your name into the drawing, and come back next week to find out who is the winner. And if you are the lucky winner, you can tell me what color you would like me to color it, and I will go ahead and get that custom colored for you. Moving on to this week's video. Today I'm going to share with you my portfolios, what I put inside of them, and how they are helpful. Here is an example of a portfolio. Now I want you to keep in mind that this is not a real portfolio. The student work is real, but I don't keep the portfolios. At the end of the year, I send the portfolios home. I think that makes a really nice keepsake for the families. If you can, request for binders with little clear pocket sleeves in the front. That makes it really nice to be able to slide in and put in the kids' artwork. Or also, if you'd like, you can take their pictures and put like a headshot picture. Kids love seeing their faces on their folders. Also on the side, if you just ignore the part that it says to do, that's what I was using this binder for actually. But if you can get binders that have those clear sleeves on the sides as well, you can have the kids write their name, or you can write their name for them and just like slide it in. This way when it's on the shelf, you just see the student's name, and it makes it easy to just pull out and get what you're looking for. So when you're requesting for binders, I recommend also requesting for dividers. I like the 5-section dividers because I think 5 sections are enough, especially for kindergarten and primary grades. What I like to divide mine into is writing, reading, math, science, and social emotional. If you would like, you can do /social studies like community helpers or all about me theme. Those kind of themes could also fit into social emotional skills. I also recommend, if you can request to have your parents supply for you stick-on address labels, or you can purchase them yourselves. What I normally do is I would label the subjects and print them on the stick-on address labels, and it just makes it look a lot nicer. I didn't do that to show it to you because, remember, again, this is just an example and not a real student's portfolio. I'm going to share with you what's in the writing section. The purpose of my portfolio is to be able to share with the parents and show growth and the kind of activities that we're doing in the classroom that support that growth and learning. So I always like to put in the first assessments, and I can see that this is not very clear. So I'm going to trace over the student's work with a marker to make it more visible for you. Okay. Yes, I think that is much better. So this is an example of how a student was writing his name in the beginning of the year. So this is a great talking point to show the parents, here's how your child's abilities were in the beginning of the school year. After I show them the assessment, I recommend putting at least 2, 3, if not more examples of, well, what are you doing in the classroom to teach the students the skills of identifying the letters, learning how to write their name, etc., depending on what the assessment was. Here you can see, for example, we worked on letter recognition and making letters using letter blocks. We practiced learning how to write on the rice tray. Here we are practicing how to write letters using dry erase markers. If you want to, you can also include the standard and what they're learning on the bottom. This is, again, optional. It's completely up to you. I wrote it down. It says, use writing and drawing tools with some control. Write upper and lowercase letters. And then after you showcased a couple examples of the kind of activities that you did to support your students' learning and growth, you want to do another assessment again. And in the second assessment, I like to put them side by side so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth with the pages. So the parents can see very clearly, and it's just so exciting to show this. I love seeing it myself. And the students love seeing it too. I always show it to my students. I tell them, you know, look, this is how you were writing your name in the beginning, and look at how awesome, how much better you are writing your name now. So this is a great visual for the parents, the students, admin, whoever is looking at it, and for yourself. I love seeing this. And then at the end of the school year, you would have a third one that shows progress. It's just awesome to see the progress. And you would do that for every section. I really highly recommend taking as many pictures as you can throughout the school year, especially in kindergarten and primary grades. We know that quality education does not come from sitting at desks and filling out worksheets and worksheets. So, and it's really hard to show parents the activities and stuff that we're working on without something tangible. We can't put actual, you know, crackers in the portfolio. So it's really, 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 really nice. I can't stress the importance of taking pictures for documentation and showcasing what your kids are working on. Oh, look, you know, here's an example. He was able to count 12 rhombuses, and he was able to tell me what shape it was. If I wanted to, I could include this inside the writing section if that was something that I was working on. It kind of depends on what you're working on and what your goals are. I won't go through all of them with you, but this is just an example of what I would put inside my portfolio. This makes it very helpful to, when you are speaking during parent-teacher conferences, it just makes your conversations flow. And it's really great, especially when I know sometimes parents will come up and say, with all good intention, they might say, oh, well, you know, he knows how to write his name. He writes it for me at home all the time. So this way, here you have an example. Well, here's how he was writing it before. Here is how your child is writing his name currently. And I can obviously only give grades based on what your child exemplifies and displays in the classroom. So this is a great to have as far as evidence for support, and you don't have to worry about, it's not a matter of opinion when you're giving grades. And it's also a great reference when you are filling out the report cards. It's great to go back and look. If your parents are like, well, why did my child get this grade for writing? Well, here's how I graded it. So when you're making portfolios, it's really important to think about why you are making the portfolio and your purpose for the portfolios. So the next portfolio I'm going to share with you is one I did when I was teaching English language learners. And my goal for this portfolio was to put together projects that the kids can actually talk about. This was the first page. I put their headshots and handprints as the cover. I would ask the kids to come to the parent-teacher conferences with the families, and I would ask the kids to share their portfolios with their parents. And it's really nice to have the students open their pages and talk to their parents. For example, at this page, it would say, I have a yellow fish, I have a red fish. It kind of depends on what language skills that they have already acquired that they can talk about. In this page, the student can talk about shapes. I have 2 red squares. I made a roof using a triangle. They might just point and say each shape, depending on their abilities. These next pages were to talk about weather. How's the weather? It's rainy, it's sunny, it's windy, it's snowy. I won't go into every single page, but you get the picture. The whole purpose of this portfolio was for the students to be able to talk about and showcase their language skills. Do you like apples? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Another tip that I would highly recommend is when you're building those portfolios, give students the opportunities to present for their friends and for you. This gives them an opportunity to practice and refresh those skills that they have learned. And if you can, record them doing it. I always did that, and I think it makes such a great, valuable keepsake for the parents. But aside from that, when students come in for parent-teacher conferences, there are many times kids act a lot differently when parents are there. Sometimes they're shy, sometimes they don't cooperate, sometimes they act more spoiled. They might not present the same way that they would if their parents were not there. In those instances, it's still great that you can give the parents, hand them over a CD so they can go home and watch it, because it's nice to hear from the teacher saying, yes, your child is able to do it, but it's another thing when they can actually see it for themselves, right? Seeing is believing. This kind of portfolio doesn't really show growth because you're not essentially showing in the beginning how they're able to speak compared to how they're able to speak now, but you are able to display how they're speaking now. So I think it's a great way to show the students' current abilities. So depending on what your reasons are for having portfolios, I highly recommend them. I think they're great for evidence-based learning. They're great hands-on for you, as in what are the next steps, what are you working on with your students. It makes it easier for you to differentiate instruction and individualized learning because every kid is in a different stage in their learning process. I hope this video was helpful for you. As a reminder, if you would like to take this reading stamina chart made of wood and put it inside your classroom, all you need to do is put your name in the comment below to be entered in the drawing. If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. Till next time, happy teaching!